Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Villain Viver podcast. We are so excited for the start of season 7, which started like 6 hours, 7 hours. I don't know. I can't count. I'm gay. So, anyway, like some time ago. But today, as always, we are doing our cast assessment. And holy shit, that is so exciting. Can't wait to hear our terrible takes and then listen to them later and see how much we flopped. Yes, that's what we have in store for everyone today. I am Gabriel, and I have with me today.
I'm Elk.
I'm Ollie. I'm extremely hot.
So true.
Okay, the fakeness.
No, I'm being serious. I just don't want to make you uncomfortable. Anyway, I guess we can just dive right into this. We'll just go down the list in alphabetical order. This is a fans versus favorites season, so we'll be commenting on the fans based on their interviews and then the faves based on their previous gameplay. And yeah, we will just take it from there. A lot of the faves you've probably heard us talk about before, but that's okay. So the first person, did you want to say something else?
No, that's good. Let's take it away with the start of this cast assessment from the top.
All right, so we are starting off with Amelia. I have to pull up Amelia's interview because honestly, I'm not really remembering her that much, which is probably not the best thing to say, but it is what it is.
I mean, Amelia was very popular during our casting meeting. Like when we looked at the apps that we had, Amelia was on almost everyone's, like very high on almost everyone's list of people that we definitely wanted to be on this cast. Like
Yeah,
one of the stronger interviews that we had this season was from Amelia.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Amelia was in the speed. It fairly well until she was idled out. And I hope that her early speed gameplay can translate into the game. I think it would be really fun to see.
Yeah, so from what I'm reading, she is very much a social player, and she's really good at getting people to want to be her friend because she has a very calming and cheerful personality. And she's been around the server a bit and getting to know people and just being a presence. And I really see that in her personality. So I don't think that she's going to have any issue making friends and therefore making allies. I think like what makes me worried about that is that especially being a female in the game is that she's probably going to be seen as a social threat come merge. I think she will make merge, but I think that's going to be dangerous for her around that time.
I mean, at the same time, this is an org where we have a history of big, like, obvious social threats going on to do very well in the game. Just look at, like, Jade, Alex M, Ha. Like, how many big social threats have been either winners or right in contention to win, who are obvious social threats from early on in the game, and yet still, like, manage to make very deep runs or even win?
That's a good point. But something else that she says in her interview is that she dislikes over the top players and those who are loud and feisty. She has trouble gelling with them. And we have quite a few people on this cast who are definitely over the top players. So I don't know. It's like what worries me is she going to be able to work with them? I think she can. I think she can put on that front. But how far is that going to take her?
I'm going to go ahead and honestly say that, at least for me, I think that Amelia is probably one of, like, my top picks from the fans' tribes collectively to go on and perform well in this game. Like, I really have a lot of faith in Amelia's game here.
Yeah, I do too. I'm a little lower, but I'll say I'm gonna do this for everybody. I'm gonna give Amelia a ceiling of 4th, a floor of 12th. I think that she has a shot to go really far. I also just don't know about her challenge ability yet, as I'll say for a lot of players that haven't played before. I can't wage whether she'll be able to win to the end if she gets put in that position.
Okay, that's fair. She's also new to Discord orgs. I believe this is the first Discord org she is playing. She comes from the Facebook org community. So I don't know how that's going to affect her.
I mean, if you think about it, though,
very different.
I say Villain Viver challenges though are also very different from a lot of the Discord org community. So I don't know how much like lack of familiarity with Discord orgs will really hold her back when, sure, if this were an org where we tended to see a lot of the old classics, 2Cars, 2048, stuff like that, like not having played Discord orgs before would be more of a hindrance challenge wise. But here I don't think that's going to be quite as much of an issue in terms of the challenges. In terms of, pace of the game, socializing on Discord, etc., I could see it being a little bit more difficult. But I think she has what it takes to make up for that.
All right. Are we fair to move on?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Up next is our season 4 winner, Boofus. Anyone want to take it away with Boofus?
Yeah, definitely. I think I love Boofus, like personally. Like he's really funny. He's a jokester, and the fact that he won this org, which is very difficult to win on his first org, like his first try, that's a really good thing. I also think that he'll be able to downplay a lot, that people won't be too scared that he won before. And I'm really excited to see him play. He's one of the favorites that I'm most excited to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted on Boofus. God, I feel like the Simon Cowell of this fucking podcast. But because the reason Boofus won his season is because he had that edge of being like, oh, I've never played an org before. I'm going to play the dumbass who has no idea what he's doing. And he did that intentionally. And he acted like a fucking idiot. Like he will tell you that himself. And he can't do that this time. And his personality is an acquired taste. And I say that with love because I adore his personality. But he's definitely someone who could rub people the wrong way. But with that being said, there's a few people like that on this cast. So I think if he clicks with them, he will be fine, but he could also go to war with them because they all have such large personalities, which will be so entertaining. But game-wise, I don't know, because he's also kind of an under-the-radar player. Honestly, he is. Like, for someone who has such a large personality, it's so interesting. It's so hard to, like, rate his game because he's only ever played one org before. And I don't think he had an easy way to the end, but he definitely hid behind like J-Ro the entire time.
Yeah.
Not to downplay his win, because I think that he did make moves to get there, but it's just so hard to judge like him. He's definitely a social player. I think he's a great social player, but I don't know. He's an interesting one. I don't think he's going to win, though.
So Gabriel apologized in advance for being the Simon Cowell. If Gabriel's the Simon Cowell, I guess I'm about to be the Gordon Ramsay. Because while I hope I'm wrong, I honestly, just looking at this cast, I think Boofus is about as close to a dead man walking as it gets. I really hope that I'm wrong about this, but I think that Boofus stands out so head and shoulders above most of the other favorites that made it onto this cast. If we had like some slightly stronger players make it in over some of the other inclusions we have here, I might, have a different opinion here too on Bufus's threat level. But anytime you have a returnee season, you see it all the time on regular Survivor, right? You have in Micronesia, you have a fan favorite from Fiji going out very early on in the game. When you go to Game Changers, you have one of the greatest survivors of all time going out in the first episode. Some would even say two of the greatest survivors going out in the first episode. As one of the Survivor podcasts out there likes to say it, you have to pay the shark tax. And when there aren't a whole lot of other sharks swimming around to take a spear to the face, I think Bufus is going to be that shark that pays the shark tax in this season. The big player who goes out early because the threat level from the past season is just way too big.
He's the only winner, right, on the cast?
Yeah.
The only winner and the only person with a major reputation for being like an incredible player. Like you could say that there are other good players on this cast, but most of the other ones are long enough ago that their reputation has faded.
No, I disagree because everyone thinks that Roman should have gotten player of the season.
Yeah. I think Bufus is a great player. I don't necessarily think everybody, especially some of the favorites, will consider him an incredible player. I think that if any of the winners, be wrong because I don't necessarily know about Pody and Jack, if any of the winners can have a shot to play dumb again or play how they played before and get far, I think Bufus has the shot. But I also agree he is probably doomed for, I don't know, first 5 boots. If he gets past that, I can see him going far. I hope he goes far. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, like I am saying this hoping that this doesn't happen, but just realistically looking at this, that's what it looks like from where I'm sitting, is that Bufus is just going to get straight up sharked out, which is understandable, but if he does survive the early game, he'll be in with a shot. That's the thing about Bufus. You can never count Bufus out.
Yeah. We were counting him out in season 4 early on, and look what happened.
Look at him.
It all depends on who he aligns with. I think he's gonna align with J-Ro, obviously. But how much sway is J-Ro gonna have?
Also, that's 2 people. Sure, you can get one good ally, but what happens, after that? You need more people.
I think I don't. This is the tough thing because metagaming. Bufus and Uni are close outside of the game, so it's are they gonna bring that into the game? And then I can see Bufus and Roman teaming up. So out of that entire tribe, and I know that this is a little off topic, but Ha then is the one that's kind of the odd man out.
Oh, 100%. If we end up getting to tribes at some point, I think I forget the name of their tribe. The tribe they are on has to be one of the most interesting dynamics. 100%. In my eyes.
Yeah, I just think with Bufus, it all depends on who he ends up aligning with.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the last thing I want to say about Bufus, I do see him taking on a leadership role, though. Especially out of everyone in his tribe, I see him taking on a leadership role. I see them forcing him into a leadership role, to be honest.
So I'll give my ceiling and my floor. I think the floor for Bufus is 17th. Ceiling is 6th. I'll say I think he probably has one of the bigger gaps in where I think he could place.
All right. Moving on next, we have Dom. Dom is one of the younger players on the cast. He is 17, 16, let me see. He's 17. And he was an autocast because he was an alternate. And what I'm gathering from his interview, and I know a little bit about his personality, but just going based off of his interview, He says that he wants to find an even ground between playing over the top and under the radar. He wants to be able to switch. He wants to play a balanced game, which I don't really know how to feel about that. His personality is so like straight cis boy, like the type, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because we do have a lot of those types in this season. So I think that he won't like be an odd man out at all. However, I don't know, something about like his vibe, like his interview, just like I just don't see him going very far.
Yeah, I do not have super high hopes for Dom on this season, in part because of this starting tribe draw. I think that Dom is probably the weakest player on his starting tribe. And just like that's if that tribe goes to tribal, I think Dom is extremely in trouble on this tribe. Now, if he can get out of the first tribal and like not be the first person out of his tribe, or if that first tribe manages to make it to a swap without going to tribal, then like sure, I think Dom is, as in with a chance as anybody. But I think if the Megara tribe goes to tribal early, I think Dom is in huge trouble.
I mean, the Megara tribe is a fucking mess. Let me just tell you that. But
well, I'm going strictly off of like their interviews. I haven't been able to see anything since the cast reveal yet.
oh yeah, no,
I'm gonna have to catch up.
Interviews too. Like,
oh, okay, then yeah,
they're a mess of they're a hodgepodge of just personalities.
Yeah, I've been watching confessionals this whole time these past few hours, so I've seen everything everybody has said. I'll talk about that later, but Dom is just one person. I think that he has no chance of getting to the merge. I think it'd be an uphill battle for him. I don't.
I mean, if he can get to like a swap, he'll be okay.
Yeah, but I also think he could be somebody that is just like a victim of circumstance. I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets sniped randomly without a thought about it.
True. Honestly, I think age is working against him because we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 minors on the cast. And he's one of them. And that the rest of them are like in their 20s, basically. Well, there's a couple of like 19-year-olds, but yeah, it's like his age is.
I mean, on his starting tribe, we have 4 people under 20 on his starting tribe out of 5.
Oh well.
We got a 17, 2 18s, and a 19 on that tribe.
And then a 27.
Well, yeah, but
that's funny. But I don't know. I just feel like in the grand scheme of things, his age is really going to work against him because Dom is someone who like you can tell is 17. I don't mean that as an insult. I just like there's nothing wrong with like acting 17 if you're 17. It's just like in a cast where there's only 4 minors, it's like it's going to be hard for him to connect, I think.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I think he's in a really, really rough spot in terms of his starting tribe draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give Dom a floor of 20th and a ceiling of I gotta say like 14th.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
I could see Dom doing okay. Like again, if he gets to a swap, it's just getting to that swap that's going to be so huge for him.
Yeah.
Up next, we have a big fan favorite, Emmy.
Ooh. I'll start. because I have played with Emmy many a time. I have seen her do amazing. I have seen her do absolutely horrible. She is probably one of the best personalities, or like craziest people on this cast, or craziest person on this cast. I love that. I think that she'll do very well socially. I think that she's not bad at challenges, and that won't be a liability against her. I also wouldn't be surprised if what happened to her in season 3 happens to her again.
Okay, I can see that. I already I tried to do the cast assessment based solely on things that have not happened already in the game, but I do think that this is worth noting. Excuse me. Already in her confessional, she's like dying, like because people are not talking to her fast enough, and that's a bad sign. That's telling me that she's going to overplay. And we saw what happened when they overplayed the first time, which was very entertaining and made them a fan favorite. But it's not going to take them very far in the game, you know?
Yeah, on the like I don't know. I feel like with this tribe configuration, it just might be an okay tribe for Emmy. Like I don't think we'll get to one of the other players on this tribe later. But like I think Emmy does have a very obvious target that will go before her. And I think that, that taking that in again, just this is not based on things that have happened in the game. This is just based on who's on the tribe. And like if Emmy can get the obvious target out and get into a swap in like a respectable group of 4, even if they're overplaying a little, I think that Emmy's not going to be in a terrible spot. And like this is not a bad group of people to be developing early relationships with.
That's fair. That's fair. I think like if so Quinn and Emmy have very similar personalities, I think. So those two could definitely be a force to be reckoned with if they play their cards right and align quickly. And if they bring in Lex, that's a trio that I could see running the game. Pre-merge. I don't know about merge, but pre-merge for sure, for sure. And in that case, I think that would be best for Lex's game, but that's a completely different story. But I could see the overplaying working for Emmy in that scenario for sure. I think that Emmy's personality is definitely going to carry them very far, because how do you not love Emmy? You know, how do you not? And the one downside is that Emmy works a shit ton. However, she still does maintain to be active, but she maintains to be active late at night. And I don't know that all of these people are going to be late night people.
Yeah. No, on the whole, I think signs are trending up for Emmy, and I feel like Emmy is going to be in an okay spot. But like, I could definitely see the scenario where we get like flame out Emmy as well. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Emmy flamed out, but at the same time, I'm expecting like a pretty deep run from Emmy here.
Yeah, and with that, I'm going to give Emmy a floor of 13th, a ceiling of 5th.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Because I think with the ceiling of 5th, I've seen Emmy in the end game. Emmy sort of seems to be a fallen angel towards the end game. She does very she might play a little under the radar, but towards the end game she gets very good and her threat level rises a lot, and I think that if she's given the opportunity to get to the end game, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
With that, we will move on to our next person, who is Goals. Goals is someone who I recruited off of Reddit. Goals has never played an org before, had never heard of an org before, and someone who I am very excited to see play. I played Tara Viver with him, and based on his interview, he said that he wants to play an under the radar game and be part of a group. He says that he wants a we before me mentality. And as the game goes on, he wants to develop relationships and navigate till merge and kind of be seen as a number, just along for the ride and not really be seen as a strategic threat. And then like rely on his social game. And then he wants to like really win out, basically. So definitely more of an under the radar player. And based on playing the speed with him, I get those vibes. And also, he's just where I think his downfall is going to be is he is fiercely loyal. Fiercely loyal. Like, loyal to a fault. And I think he's going to get his heart broken a little bit in this game. He's going to try. I can see him trusting the wrong person. I mean, he's on the Heroes tribe, so if he finds a number one on this tribe, he'll be okay. But like, if he just consistently puts other people before himself, that could be enough of a winning story if he makes it to the end. But it's a matter of getting to the end, and I can see someone just slitting his throat brutally before he even makes it there.
So the vibe I got from Goals' interview, and I wasn't there for the Tara Viver that Goals played, so I can't speak to that. But the vibe I got from Goals' interview is that Goals is the sort of player who will compare himself to Cochrane and take it as a compliment. Right? Like, this is the sort of player who comes into the game and basically says, look, I'm going to play a game down my side. I'm going to make my Onion Alliance. I'm going to make one strategic ruthless blindside at the exact right moment, base my entire game off of the fact that I made one move, because that is just strictly how Survivor is supposed to be played. I think Goals is probably going to lack a little bit of flexibility, especially compared to some of the more experienced players. But at the same time, like, if the cast lines up well, I don't think Goals is going to be a terrible player or completely out of the running. I think there's a very good chance that Goals goes down in the blind side of the season. There's a chance that Goals pulls off the blind side of the season. I do think Goals is going to end up being someone who you can't write the story of this season without. Either because of what he does or because of what's done to him. One way or another, this season's story is going to run right between the Goals posts. And it's going to be a matter of what and when, not if. That said, I think it's more likely that Goals is on the receiving end of that big blind side, and it's probably going to come somewhere in the early merge. I think Goals is going to be in a great spot, in a great group, but that rigidity, that lack of flexibility, that lack of experience is going to come around, and one of these big shots, probably one of someone like Ha, is going to make Goals think, okay, we're good, we're golden. Bam, just like that, gone.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think Goals is going to get snowied.
Yes, yeah.
I also think it could be nearly I think Goals is a smart guy. I think if he gets into a position where he can find advantages, I think he could be somebody who could do that. I also think that he also could be very willing to play it on somebody and give it to somebody and be screwed over that way. I don't know if there's people
He could get
who
jabbed.
do that,
He could get jabbed.
but I think that he's going to be really entertaining. I do not see him going early. If he goes early, I'm going to be very surprised. I don't think his tribe, which is the Phil tribe, is one of the quieter tribes so far, so I can't really base off anything that's going on right now. But I have very high hopes for Goals.
You know what he needs to do? He needs to link up with Roman. because Roman
Oh,
eats up bitches who are new to the game. She just loves he would be her toaster. You know, like she would love to take him under her wing and teach him everything she knows and protect him to the best of her ability. If they can get to a swap together and link up, he is golden. Get it? Golden.
100%. I'm gonna give him a ceiling of third, probably. I think he could get to the end. I don't know if he'd have the win equity. I could see him getting to the end. I'm gonna say his floor is 10th.
That's fair.
I'm gonna be very surprised if he goes anywhere before like 13th.
Yeah, like if he goes pre-merge, like I would be stunned, honestly.
Yeah. He's probably one person I will say is a lock for merge. If not right before. He's the boot before merge.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we have Ha, our villain of the season from season 2.
Ooh.
You
You
can
go
go.
first.
Oh,
Oh my. Okay, who?
I can go. I can go. So Ha is someone who I've played with before and obviously hosted, and Ha has something to prove as an old schooler of Villain Viber, as the only old school. Well, Uni, I guess, but like Uni also played season 4, so Ha is, I don't know, because it's been so long since I've seen him play, you know? Like, whenever I played with him before, he was absolutely fucking feral, just making alliances with everyone and lying about everyone to everyone and thinking that he was running the game somehow when we all knew about it. And then whenever he played here, he actually played a really good game and came up with these brilliant fucking moves, and no one clocked him on it until the very end. And he also won all these fucking challenges that everyone thought that he was going to win out until I gave him a really shitty challenge on accident. That gives him trauma to this day. But and then he was robbed. Like, he totally would have won the season. And that means that he has a fire lit under his ass and he wants this so bad. He has been waiting to return for a year. Like, he wants this. So, but that makes me think that he might overplay because he wants it so bad. But he also is like smart enough to not overplay. I don't know. But he's also been smoking a lot of weed, so who knows? You know? I don't know. I have high hopes for Ha. I think Ha could go out right before merge, but I also think it's more likely that he'll go out probably mid merge. That's what I think. I don't think he'll win though.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna immediately say my floor and ceiling. I'm probably completely wrong, and this is the one that I'm least confident in. I could see Ha going like second boot, or I could also see him getting to the end. I think that he's a smart player. He's entertaining. He's social. He's going to be able to bond with people. I think he could be used as a shield, and he could be put in that position to be mid-merge and then win out. Somebody takes him to 7th, and then he just wins out. And that's probably very high on him, and that's a very low chance. But I wouldn't put it past happening. You never know. I'm banking on this season being crazy.
So, after our analysis of the ballot podcast, Ha about threatened to kill me if I made any more jokes about what happened to him last time. So I'm going to try to restrain my normal pun urges, at least just this once, for Ha's sake. And I'm going to say, in all honesty, that I could easily see like a repeat of Ha's past game happening again, in that I could see Ha getting to that Fallen Angel spot again. Is Ha going to overplay? I don't think it's even a question. Of course Ha is going to overplay. That's why he's on this ballot. Ha doesn't know how not to overplay. Everything Ha does is overplaying, but he gets away with it consistently.
True.
I think Ha is going to be like destroying this game for the better part of the game. Is going to be one of the people in the strongest position. We're going to get to about final 7, and it's going to become completely clear that Ha is the dominant jury threat in the game, and that anyone in the game would be stupid to sit next to Ha. Ha is going to win 1 or 2 challenges, because he's good enough to win 1 or 2, especially with his back up against the wall. He's going to win a challenge or 2, make it to that final 5, final 4, right in there, and then just not quite be able to pull it out. He's going to leave himself with too many challenges in a row that he has to win. He'll get part of the way there, but he'll come up just short again. That's what I see happening to Ha. He'll probably get player of the season again. He'll probably be one of the dominant controlling presences on this season, and he's going to come up just short.
Damn, you say that like you're excited for him to.
I mean, it's going to be amazing to watch. Like, he's going to be one of the people I'm going to most enjoy watching this season.
We're gonna get another epic episode title that just says "Good night" and then him like crying again.
Yeah, I think that I think Ha is going to be great. I think if he has a good game, he can go down in history as one of the best. He already is one of the best to play. But I think if he gets a top like 6th placement and plays an amazing game, he could be considered not first, but probably second. I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat Jade.
Are we
I think that
considering the tribe that he's on though, and how he's the black sheep?
That's why I have him going second boot, or that he could go second boot. I think that this tribe is very interesting. I think that we could. I'm probably wrong, right? I don't necessarily.
I don't think the Zeus tribe is ever going to tribal though. Like, he's probably in an only okay position if they do, unless he like manages to pull some Ha magic, which also wouldn't surprise me if he does. But like, out of these 4 tribes, I think the Zeus tribe is by far the strongest tribe in terms of like challenge strength out of these 4.
Yeah. I think that if they lose though, that he could be that boot. Could be their 1 boot.
Yeah.
Because I think they could.
I could see that happening too.
I think those people are smart enough on that tribe to say, we may go to tribal again, but we cannot risk Ha going far. Wouldn't be surprised.
But they could also be like, Ha is our strongest competition person. We can't lose him. So
I wouldn't be surprised though. They bank on and I won't say when swaps are. They could bank on an F-18, and they could maybe try to get him out then, and they will see. They'll see what happens. But I don't know. I think that he's gonna do well. I hope he does well, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's an earlier boot.
Also, I just want to say before we move on from Ha, that when we talked about Boofus, I talked about the shark tax. I do think that while the hosting team and those like old school players here recognize how strong Ha was in season 2, I think there aren't enough people in this cast that remember season 2 for Ha to have the same kind of threat level that Boofus does in terms of that whole shark tax situation. So I do think in terms of that, Ha will be more like insulated than you'd expect from the sharking.
I could see that.
All right. So up next we have Jake. Jake is someone who I am actually while we're going through it, I'm not as excited as I thought I'd be. And I'm not saying that because I don't love Jake. I do love Jake. Jake is very entertaining, but like in terms of like gameplay, he's just like not one of the more strong people, I guess. Yeah, he's good socially, but during his season, he was someone who wasn't the strongest socially because he was busy. He whenever he was around, he was great at forming connections with people. People adored talking to him. He just has this hilarious personality that you are drawn to, and it makes it hard to want to get rid. I mean, they literally voted him out because he was so likable. I mean, that says something. So I think I don't know. It's hard with Jake because I think he's gonna do fine, but I can also see him going pre-merge.
Okay, so I'll go. I do not have a lot of knowledge about Jake. I wasn't around for season 6, but looking at some of his past stuff and hearing what Gabriel says, be interesting. I also think that he might one of the favorites that doesn't do as well. I think he's one of the lower favorites when it comes to gameplay, but I also think that could work for him because if people have knowledge of the other bigger threats, he could be somebody that is looked over, and I definitely think that he could take advantage of that.
Elk. Oh, Elk is muted.
Oh.
Yeah. Where would you do ceiling and floor?
This is probably subject to change, and I might actually do ceiling and floors like every once in a while, maybe somewhere. Right now, I would put him at 18th, like I don't know. No, I'd probably say 16th to 8th. I don't know enough though. That is definitely going to change. Unless I'm spot on and I stick by that, it's probably 100% going to change.
All right.
That's the one I'm least confident in.
Elk, did you have any comments on Jake?
I think that Jake is someone who, in his first season, really, sure, you can say he wasn't in the best position, but at the same time, got, massively screwed to go out in the exact round that he went out, even if he was probably a relatively short lifespan in the game after that point. And I think Jake is one of the people coming in with a bit of a chip on shoulder and something to prove. I think that Jake is probably going to be in I'm seeing a Hercules 4 likely to form. And I think that Jake is one of those 4. And I think that Jake will be relatively well protected to make it to a swap, but is going to be dependent on swapping well to make a deeper run in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can see that. Moving on, we have Joaquin. Joaquin seems to be a favorite amongst people early on. And I can see why. Joaquin is a very social player, just based on his interview and based on the little bit that has been seen based on gameplay so far. Joaquin is already number 1 in Sophie's trust rankings, which I can't believe Sophie's already done trust rankings. But yeah, he said that he is very versatile and goes between over the top and under the radar, but like stays at a CP usually, which is the winner at it. So, but he's someone that I'm very excited to see. Just sitting on VC with him, he is very fun to listen to talk to, and you can tell that he's a social player. He's a social butterfly, and those are always fun. He just has that winner energy, and I can see him winning. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, that's a winner.
Oh yeah, I definitely think like there were about 3 or 4 interviews this season that like the second I read them, I said this person needs to be on this cast and needs to be on this cast yesterday. And Joaquin is one of those that I felt like instantly like this is someone who just needs to be on this cast. The sample trust rankings that Joaquin gave us were like mind-blowingly detailed. It was like writing long posts full of like using emojis to create a chart. Like we had the whole shebang going on, and just such a like vibrant, energetic personality. Like I totally think that Joaquin is going to be one of the biggest personalities on this season, and we're going to love every minute that we get of Joaquin. Now, I do think I sense a little bit of an overplay possibility from Joaquin. And my personal prediction is that Joaquin is probably going to end up on like the wrong side of some sort of bloodbath at Merge, where like there's a Ha alliance against a Joaquin alliance, and Ha comes out on top or something like that. But like I definitely can see Joaquin being a great player in this game and being in with a shot, even if I ultimately see like it being more likely than not that things don't quite go his way in, I'd say, the early to mid merge.
Yeah, for me, Joaquin probably out of the fans is probably second or third on fans I think that are most likely to win. I was sitting and listening in VC. He didn't talk too much, but he was very observant. He listened to everything people were saying, and he commented a lot on it. Like he was thinking about every little word, and I like people that do that. I also think that does show signs of overplaying, that he could look a little too far into what people say. I also think he's going to be a really smart player. I don't see him going out in the pre-merge at all. He's another person I would be very surprised to see go before like merge, and I definitely think that he's going to play very well, and he's probably going to be looked at as one of the better players of this season when it ends.
What about your ceiling?
Ceiling is winning. What?
No, that's just
I think that's the first person you've given a winning ceiling for, so that is saying something.
Yeah. And then floor, I would probably say ninth. And ninth because I feel like I'm hoping there's a power struggle. I think there will probably be a consensus boot at the merge. And around those next few votes, there's going to be a power struggle. And like you guys said before, he could definitely be that person who goes there.
that makes sense. I can see that.
I think he's likely to be idled out if there is an idle out.
See, I think
'Cause I
he's
think
the one
he-
to idle someone else out.
I was just about to say, he probably is another person who is going to find an idol. Or he might we have we revealed the twist yet to spectators?
No.
Can I? Or do we want to wait?
Divine will probably yell at you if you do.
Okay, I won't. Yeah. Twists, which y'all will see in the next few days, I think that he's really going to take advantage of that. I think that's about it for me.
All right. Then we move on to our next player, which is Jordan. And Jordan is just, oh my gosh, full of personality. He did a 40-minute long voice interview, which was so, I listened to it, but he also wrote out a transcript of it, like including the ums and buts. And let me just like read a little bit of it about like his play style. He says, he always has a number one, always. He gets a duo, and the duo, he always gets blindsided with them. But whenever they're blindsided, it's his duo that always gets voted for. And after they get voted out, he shines. He makes moves, and that's usually his play style. He says that he usually stays under the radar, and in the merge, he just makes the big moves and gets to the final three with people he thinks he can beat. But sometimes he becomes completely wild. It depends on the situation. He says if, for example, he's on the bottom with someone he likes or from his alliance, he says that he'll try to vote them out. He says that, let's say they try to vote them out, he'll do everything in his power to save them. He's not just going to go along with it. He's gone to
Okay.
It's recording again.
As I was saying, I think that Jordan is somebody who can misplay an idol and still come out on top, still survive, and not be seen probably even lower his threat level if he does that, because I've seen it a lot. People who play idols or misplay them are out next. I think that could happen, but not to Jordan.
Yeah. So when I said there were a handful of people who the second I read their interview, like I could just tell were going to be on this cast, the two that were at the top of that list were Joaquin and Jordan. Like, Jordan is honestly very close to the best interview I have ever seen in all of the seasons that I've seen. And not only that, like, just there's something about Jordan's personality that everyone is going to want a little bit more Jordan, right? Like, Jordan is this sort of person who is going to be, again, one of those centers of attention, both for better and for worse on this season, in that attention will end up making Jordan into a threat. But Jordan has that torch play style that I am going to have that perfect positioning so that my more threatening ally goes out before me. And then I can pick up that torch and race down to the finish line with it and try to carry it across that final tribal, right? That picking up the torch edit. You see it all the time on the show, in orgs. The player who's left behind when the duo of the season gets split up goes on to win so often. And Jordan just feels like the sort of person who's mastered that, who's found the ability to be in that duo of the season, be the half that survives, and be right there with a chance to win the game, like the second that his duo partner falls. And, you know, Jordan doesn't have to be the one to do the taking out of his duo partner. He just has to profit off of it when someone else does. And I think he will. I think that out of all of the fans tribe here, I think that Jordan and Amelia are the two that I have the most faith in as game players. Like, I absolutely think that those are the two who are going to be poised to be in this thing with a shot down the stretch.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Oh,
Yeah, so for floor and ceiling, for me, I'm going to give Jordan another. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to start giving them out a little more. I could see Jordan winning, and then Jordan makes merge 100%. I'm another person I just see no way. Maybe just right at the end of pre-merge. Jordan's making merge, so I would probably say 7th is floor.
I mean, tell me how Jordan ever goes out of this game pre-merge. Like, never, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't think there's any way, unless there's just a complete fuckery of a tribe swap. Which even then,
yeah,
I doubt Jordan goes. Unless it's some out of this world thing, Jordan is not going home.
yeah. There's
Or-
some people on this cast who can tell you about out of this world tribe swaps, unfortunately. But you know, like, barring an extreme tribe screw, like, yeah, Jordan is just going to be dominating this season, and we are going to love it.
Yep.
So true. Up next, we have J-Ro, villain of the season of season 4. Oh, J-Ro. Oh, J-Ro. Oh, J-Ro. Apparently, J-Ro has improved his gameplay.
That wouldn't be hard.
What?
I said that wouldn't be hard.
Are you saying that he performed well in season 4?
I'm saying it wouldn't be hard to improve compared to where he was in season 4.
Damn.
All right.
You love
yeah.
J-Ro, huh?
No, I adore J-Ro. He's such a fun character. He's such a fun person. I love him as a person. And I think that he thinks that this is a dating show. With how many wives he's accrued already this season. I just, oh my God. What do you even say? You know, he's just, is he going to get into any fights this season? I wonder. Or is he burnt out, you know? Is he burnt out? With the kind of personalities we have on this cast, I think he is. In the amount of VCing that's happening already, I think he is. And I know that he hates that that's his legacy, but it is what it is, you know. J-Ro, I don't know. I can honestly, this might be a hot take, but I can kind of see him going to merge, especially if he rides Boofus's coattails, which is interesting because Boofus was the one riding J-Ro's coattails, but I don't know. J-Ro's an oddball. I don't know what to do with him.
So we see all the time, both in regular Survivor and in the org community, people who have infinitely more self-confidence than their actual skill level justifies. J-Ro isn't there. J-Ro actually has the game to back up his ridiculous levels of confidence. The thing is, even when you have the game to back it up, that much confidence is going to get you killed in a game like this. Like, yes, J-Ro does have more of the tools to back it up than a lot of the extremely confident players that you'll see. But I don't know that anyone can survive the amount of confidence that J-Ro has. J-Ro is one of the most confident people I've ever seen. And while that makes J-Ro like incredibly fun to watch and to hang out with in the server, I don't think it's going to serve him well in the game. Like, eventually his confidence, his feistiness, like his I will not take anything sitting down is going to get the best of him. It did in season 4, and it almost certainly is again here.
Yeah, so this isn't a hot take, and y'all can debate me on this if you think it is. J-Ro is going to be probably one of the biggest characters of the season. I think he's going to repeat Emmy did. And Emmy, what did Emmy get first? Character rankings, or like third?
Third or fourth.
Yeah, J-Ro is probably going to be top 3, if not right out of there. J-Ro is not making the merge. He's not making the merge. I think he could be somebody who is, if he makes the swap, which I don't know yet. I can't really make a confident assumption on that. I think that if he does, could be put into the bottom in a swap and then overplay or freak out or get in an argument and then get taken out.
Freak out, yes. Freak out, yes. That is
It
his
will be
specialty.
so fun.
He freaks out so bad.
And I definitely, so I'll say my ceiling and my floor for him. My floor for him is 18th. My ceiling is 12th. He's not going to do well. I think that he's awesome. I love his personality. He's going to be amazing to watch, but he's not. He's not going far. And it's sad to say, but it's not happening.
See, I'm not quite as low as you are there, actually. Like, I'm don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's winning or anything, but like, tell me how unrealistic this is, but like, what are the odds that the Zeus tribe again just doesn't go to tribal? He gets to a swap, he has like a fine position on his swap tribe. He's one of the stronger tribe challenge performers that we have on this season. Like, there's a chance he faces maybe one, maybe two tribals before merge, and if both of those are after a swap instead of before a swap, like, there's a chance that he just never really faces any significant danger till the merge. And then, like, when that merge bloodbath hits, or when the threat purge happens, like, or when he just swings way too hard for the fences, then yeah, that's when it happens to him. But, like, I do see him making the merge at least some of the time. Like, I don't think it's crazy for J-Ro to make merge here, just because of, like, how good at challenges he is, and how good at challenges like the Zeus tribe as a whole is. Like, I think he has a real shot to make merge. He's just gonna, be the bright burning star at that point and, burn to a crisp.
That's a hot take, Elk. That's a hot take.
I think J-Ro, if he makes the merge, he's the merge boot. He's not gonna make the merge, and I will eat my words if he does. And I hope he improves. I hope my opinion on him goes up. I just don't see it happening. I think that once he gets to swap, he is not making it out of those first 3 votes. There's no way. I don't think he's in danger in this first tribes, because this tribe is not going to go to more than one tribal. If they go to one, he's not going to be that boot. I doubt it. Because I think he'll be able to put himself in the middle without being known to be in the middle in that tribe. He's just not. He's not making it out of that swap.
On that note, let's bring it on over to our next player, who I think is going to get number 1 on character rankings, and that is Lastro. Let me just read you a little bit from Lastro's interview. Lastro says, "I'm the one who's waiting to know everyone and everything about them, your weaknesses, your hobbies, your fears, your regrets, your life decisions. I want to perform surgery on your brain and know all about you. And I use what I know to my gain. I'm either going to use it to get closer to you and be your BFF, or I use it to calculate how I should slash your throat open." Now, not only that, here's another quote. "Do you take orders? Bitch, this insert slur for transgender person doesn't take no orders. Sure, I might hear you out and might see if I agree with you depending on the stage of the game, but their mistake is thinking I'm on their leash." So that's the kind of person that we're dealing with. and he somehow says that he's both over the top and under the radar. I disagree. I disagree.
I do too.
This is an over-the-top player, 100%. I don't believe in larger than life, but this is a larger than life player.
So remember when a few castmates ago we were talking about the Emmy legacy of being like towards the top of character rankings despite going out like 1 tribal into the game? Lastro. Yeah. Like, the last is for last place, but like, he's gonna be a great character while he does it.
Yeah, so I think I love Lastro. His confessionals are amazing. Or what are their pronouns? Let me look. I'm sorry.
He, they.
Yeah, okay, he. So Lastra is amazing. Personality is all.
You're going all robot on us. Oh, and there they go.
All right.
I'll pick it up. Yeah. So, oh wait, Ollie's back. Ollie. Okay, I'll keep talking until Ollie returns. Lastro is someone who, honestly, though, like his personality is kind of like, I don't know, like it's not for everyone, but like he's so, I don't know, like he's so funny, and honestly, he has those vibes where people could be like, okay, like he's a lot, but like he could be a great shield, you know. So I could see him making it to merge simply because people think he's a shield. But I don't see. He's definitely not winning. He's definitely not winning, and he's more of like a early merge boot.
Yeah, I would love to see the world where Lastro does well in the game. I don't think we're all that likely to get that world, but I do think we're likely to get like a very entertaining performance, a great character-driven performance from Lastro. I think Lastro's in a little over his head with this cast. I think there's a lot of players on this cast who are like just not going to be there for Lastro's like I'm running the game now, and they're just going to say no, you're not, and they're just going to write Lastro down. Like that's really. I feel like Lastro is going to want to control the game. He's going to try to control the game, and I don't think the rest of this cast is going to let him run this game. But that said, like I do think we're going to get a really great performance in terms of like personality and character, and he's going to make the season better for as long as he lasts. And I hope that's for a long time. Right? Like I'm not against Lastro in any way. I want to see Lastro succeed. It's just going to be a matter of like, can he?
You know what though is going to be so entertaining is Lastro is 100% going to get blindsided because he's so delusional. Like it's going to be so obvious that he's going home, but he's going to be like, I'm not going home. There's no way they're getting rid of me. And then he's going to be, oh my God, if it's a Sun situation where he's in VC while they're reading his name out and he's like, oh, that would be fucking hilarious.
Is this Lastro still?
Yeah, it's still Lastro.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
fucking glorious when he gets blindsided.
Oh, it could totally be like just a full-on Gretchen moment. Like just, oh my God, it's me.
Yeah. As I was saying before, my Discord like built itself. Lastro's first 4 boots, 100%. I think ceiling is like 13th, floor is first boot.
Question.
Yeah.
How many people have we talked about so far?
Half cast.
Yeah, we're about halfway through.
Man, I wish I knew this was going on. Although I don't think it would have changed because I have work, but
Well, you're here
Okay.
now.
You
that's
get to
true.
listen
Did you
in
guys
at
talk
least
about
one
Joaquin
pod.
yet?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Very
Oh,
high on
man.
Joaquin.
Nah, like I remember earlier Sophie, or not Sophie. Yeah, Sophie, yeah. They were like saying that Joaquin was like sending like Abby Barras and they felt like the conversation would die really quickly, but like I was like reading that and I knew it wouldn't be true because as someone who knows Joaquin, like he'll like talk like for hours as much as he hates to. Like he doesn't like being like a tryhard socially, but like he'll do it.
All right, who's next on the board, Gabriel?
Lex.
Before we move on, Tristan, did you want to add anything about Lastro?
I am excited to watch Lashbro play, but I kind of share the same sentiment that Ollie does, where I think there will be I think he's gonna flame out kind of early on. I don't know, that's the vibe I get. I haven't looked at confessionals at all lately because it was working, but I just based off of interviews and everything else we've had to go on.
Gotcha. All right. Interesting. Up next, we have Lex, Mick's villain
call
viber
dibs.
himself.
I
Go
call
for
dibs on Lex first. Okay. Lex is winning the season. Calling it here. Lex's floor is 5th. Ceiling is 1st. I think
Wow.
I think. What'd you say, Alec?
I just said wow. Carry on.
I'm basing this off of playing with Lex and other orgs, seeing how great they are, and also the potential from season 3. And I think that Lex is gonna dominate. I think Lex will find their person, but it won't be a big connection. It could be the Jordan-esque thing that we talked about earlier, where Lex plays an idol on that person, and then maybe Lex could be targeted, but I feel like that'd be very late game. Lex is amazing socially, amazing at challenges. Lex does not go pre-merge, and if it happens, I hate myself, really. I'm very high on Lex, and I'm gonna die on the hill that Lex is an amazing player and will deserve to come back over and over again until they win.
So earlier in the podcast, when we talked about Ha, we said that very few people in this season had anywhere near as much of a chip on their proverbial shoulders as Ha, coming in with, I need to prove that I can do better than what happened last time. But I think the largest shoulder chip of the cast award here, out of all of our favorites that got voted in, definitely goes to Lex. Lex got colossally screwed out of season 3 in one of the most shocking tribals that we've ever had, with multiple advantage plays after an unfortunate swap. And Lex has been simmering and stewing on that moment for months. Lex is in here to annihilate everyone. Now, there's 2 things that could get in Lex's way. And I do think Lex is a fantastic pick to win this season, by the way, Ollie, and I would be thrilled for them if they do. The 2 things that I think could get in Lex's way are that I'm not quite sure that Lex is going to be quite cutthroat enough when they have to be, especially in the later part of the game. In the early game, sure, that simmering, that chip is going to be there, is going to be looming over their shoulder. But Lex cares about the people they play with, sometimes a little too much for their own good. And I'm worried that that could turn around and bite Lex at some point, especially around Final 8, Final 7 in that range. And the other thing that I can see happening to Lex is just, I don't know that Lex is quite strong enough in challenges to win out if they have to. My pick for Lex is that I think Lex is going to be our other fallen angel along with Ha. I think Lex and Ha are that 4th and 5th. Switch them either way. Either one of the 2 would have more or less swept the jury if they got there, but I think those are the 2 who are going to come up heartbreakingly short, be right at the top of player rankings, maybe top of character rankings. I do think Lex is coming in to annihilate this season, and I think they'll almost get there. I'm worried. I don't think Lex quite gets to the finish line.
Yeah, I played in an org with Lex, and Lex brought Jade to the end. I think that speaks for itself. Who brings Jade to the end? It's And I was like telling them, I'm like, Jade's gonna beat you. And they were like, I know, but like, I love Jade. Like, I care about Jade. And I'm like, but she's gonna beat you. And they were like, I don't care. And I think that just like explains their game, you know, like Elk was saying, you know, like they just care too much about the people that they're playing with. It's like they're loyal to a fault, like we were saying about goals. Like that's it, that's their downfall, you know. I don't think that they're going to be a fallen angel, but I certainly think that they're going to be a losing finalist.
Oh, see, I don't see this jury not giving it to Lex. I think it's going to be more a case of like Lex is more loyal to someone who isn't as loyal to them, and like Lex, the person Lex cares too much about, will turn around and cut them.
Yeah. Like, I think that Lex can beat some of these big players because I think that some of these big players can play villainously, as I think Lex can too. But Lex has such a big heart, I don't see it happening. I feel like Lex can beat like a Roman at the end, beat like Ha at the end.
No.
I think Ha. I think Ha could lose to Lex, and I'll say why. I think that the chance that we could have some bitter jurors, especially with some people who have never played orgs before. I don't know for sure, but I think it could happen. I hope it doesn't happen because it wouldn't be good for the season, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I also think, and I've talked to Lex personally about this, I do not think Lex is going to do what they did with Jade. They don't regret it, but I also don't think they're going to do that to themselves when they have this huge fire under them and they want to prove themselves and they really want to win this specific game. I do not see it happening.
Yeah, like not that I'm speaking from personal experience at all or anything, but like when you've taken someone to the end you shouldn't and lost to them, even if you don't regret it, even if you're happy you did it, like you also come into seasons you play immediately after that, like being willing to cut an ally you might not even need to cut just to make sure it's not going to happen again.
I think Lex is too smart for that. I don't think that Lex will do that. Now it could happen, and I am definitely overrating Lex a little bit. I'm riding the Lex train, but I'm so high on Lex.
No, but like I think that, you know, coming off of that Jade thing, I think Lex would err on the side of caution. And like
yeah.
if there's, you know, two people that they probably beat and it's Final Four, like Lex is totally gonna cut the one who's been closer to them at Final Four because of having just lost to Jade.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that Lex. I think Lex will be a loser. Like Lex is not going to get under like 2 votes if they get to the end.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think that Lex is going to be a no vote finalist. I just don't think that Lex would win because I think that people would put gameplay before they put likability. I don't know. Tristan, do you have any thoughts?
Yes. So I've never seen Lex play. And all I've heard is like they had like a tragic ending in their season. So just going off of like their reputation and stuff, I mean, I don't even know how solid this current 3-person alliance on the tribe that was literally made like 30 minutes into the season is. But I feel like I think Lex would be like a solid I think Merge. I feel like he'd be the person that goes in because whenever a merge starts,
Lex,
even if that person's not this. Oh, my bad. Okay, yeah. Even if like every time a merge happens, even if they like someone isn't necessarily a threat, people always get like a random threat level thrown on them. Like I'm trying to think. Like from my season, I didn't really see how Cat was a threat, but they were apparently very threatening to everybody else. So I feel like Lex is going to have that happen to them. So I could see them getting like early merge boot, but if they were able to overcome that, I could see them getting to the end. But like you guys said, he's like loyal, or they're loyal to a fault, so that could cost them. Although I don't know, I'm kind of like the same way. Like I would take somebody to the end, even though I would lose the season because that's just how I am. I'm really bad at like I'm just too much like a people person. So Lex might like you could say they're like the same way. I don't like letting people down. So that's why I do it. I'm not necessarily sure why they do it, but that's just my thoughts on it.
All right. Moving on, we have the fan Mo. Mo is another social player. We have a lot of social players on this season.
Thank God for that.
Mo is someone who I think will be fine socially. Mo is someone who connects with people on a deeper level. So it all depends on if people are comfortable with that. Because some people are uncomfortable with connecting like deep, So, and honestly, I feel like this cast is a cast that is uncomfortable with that. I don't know. Let me see what tribe Mo is on.
Mo is on the Phil tribe with Amelia, Goals, Jordan, and Patrick.
Yeah, I think that the tribe that Mo is on, they'll be fine connecting on a deeper level. So I think Mo will be fine in these initial tribes. But I don't know.
Mo's a hero, right?
What?
Mo's a hero, right?
Mo is a hero, yes.
Yeah, I feel like heroes would be really good. Like the people that are on the field tribe, like the people we made, like we gave heroes, like those would be the people they would be able to connect with. But they might run into issues connecting with other people on a deeper level. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but there's definitely people in this cast who just like don't mesh well with that, like in terms of like conversation points.
Dom is someone who I feel like wouldn't. I don't know why. I just get that vibe. Or Lastro, just based on conversations that I've had with him. But like based on the people who are on that tribe, I feel like Mo would be fine connecting well. But I don't know. I just get the vibe that Mo is not going to make merge. Because I think, I don't know. I don't know if it's that I think Mo is going to get overwhelmed by the level of gameplay. Like, I think Mo might just be out of her element a little bit.
I feel like some of these people are going to. I know like some of the people that are like newer to org saw that we had like 5-person tribes and got really excited that they only had to talk to 4 people. And I feel like once they have to like actually talk to like 8, 9, like these larger groups of people, I think like some of them might struggle, being able to have like a social game with more people than just like 4 people.
Mm-hmm. Mo is not.
I don't know if my work all into.
What was the last thing you said, Gabriel?
I said Mo is not new to orgs.
Yeah. I think that, for better or for worse, over the course of our last handful of seasons, Villain Viver has really brought together some like absolute all-star social players. And I think that in other places in the org community, Mo could easily be the best social player on her season and more or less run the game just on the back of her social game alone. I don't think this is the cast where she'll be able to do that, because I think this is going to be a situation where you are used to, or Mo is used to, being one of the best everywhere she goes in terms of being a social player, And what happens when you take someone who leans heavily on their like very high level social game and throw them into a season with like 8 other people who are fantastic social players? Like, I would be excited to see the world where Mo's social game holds up to the rest of this cast, but I'll believe it when I see it. I think that Mo just isn't quite on the same level as some of the other social players we have on this cast. And that's not to say that Mo is a bad social player. I think I could just skim down like a random org hub server, and if we stuck Mo onto like half of the ongoing seasons on any of the major org hubs, Mo would probably be the best social player on that cast or one of the top 2 or 3. But I think just like this particular season and this particular cast is so deep in good social players that I think Mo's just going to end up being outclassed.
Yeah, I feel that a lot. Christian, do you have anything?
I'm like on the train right now, so
Oh,
like sounds terrible. My only like thoughts about Mo is like, I don't know, she looks really promising given like her interview and everything, and like I think she'll fit really well in the third tribe. And I know there's like concerns that like she might not be the best social player this season because Bill and Viber have a good reputation of like these really good social players who played in the past, and like this season as well. Like there's a lot of social players, but I think she'll be fine. And I don't know. I think I see her like making noise for sure. I think honestly, like she was like I don't know how to in the draft, but she a potential candidate for me to play in my draft. And like I don't know, this her getting like 5th or 6th, and like getting taken out for being like a threat to win like at the end of the season. That's just me.
it's an interesting take.
Yeah, I can see it though.
Up next, we have Patrick. I gotta pull up Patrick's interview.
I remember we had like a very long and intense conversation about Patrick during the casting meeting, because I remember there was like a strong divide in terms of what we thought during the casting meeting that Patrick would bring to this season.
Yeah.
Like there were definitely some members of our hosting team who were very enthusiastic about Patrick, and some who are very the opposite of enthusiastic about Patrick.
Yeah, so like Patrick is usually, according to him, is usually an under the radar player. However, he says that he's tired of being an under the radar player. And he's not necessarily wanting to be an over the top player, but he wants to change up his game. And he's looking at this game as an opportunity to do so. So I don't exactly know what that means.
I expect Patrick to get a strong start in this season. I think it's good for Patrick that he's on a tribe with goals, who's also one of the older people in this cast, because I think that will probably put them like at least with a little bit of a help, getting that early bond going. I think that the Philoctetes tribe, the Heroes tribe, is the tribe which has like the least in common among its members, which means that anyone could end up allying with anyone, and I would not really be surprised. I don't think that Patrick's going to be able to sustain it all the way through. I think eventually he's going to fall back on old ways. I think he's going to try and play just a little too safe, and then he's not going to see it coming, and he's going to think he's completely insulated, completely isolated, and boom, snipe. Patrick becomes the star on the wall. Like, I think that there's absolutely a chance for Patrick to do well in this game, but I totally think Patrick is just going to get sniped out in like the mid-merge from a decent spot. Like, I don't think Patrick's going to play badly, but I also don't think he's going to be one of our final contenders either. I think he's going to think he's safer than he is, and then one of those big players like a Ha or a Lex or someone like that is going to land that shot, and that's that.
Yeah, I definitely see him being, as much as he wants to change up his play style, I don't see it happening with so much on the line. Like, I think he's going to fall back into the pattern of being under the radar, and it's just going to, with all the big players, it's just not going to work out for him.
I mean, he might try to avoid going back to being under the radar, but like he doesn't have that much experience with that play style. And sometimes it takes having the experience, knowing how far you can push the buttons, how far you can pull the lever without the elastic snapping back onto your wrist. Like, you have to know where those lines are, and the way you find those lines is by pushing against them. And if he doesn't have that experience to push against them, he's not going to see them, and step goes to Patrick. Like, it's just going to happen just like that.
Yeah.
I just want to say, as someone who was a big proponent on getting Patrick on the cast because I played with them, I get like the concerns or criticism that he like might play it too safe. But like, we're talking about a guy who, in my season of Geo Orgs, attended every single tribal in the season. By the way, like he went to every tribal council. He played back-to-back successful auto plays right before the merge. Went into the merge with everybody knowing that information and was able to not get targeted. Didn't even have to win immunities to keep himself safe. And then he had a successful auto play at like final 6, I think it was. And it was like a 5-1 vote where he like single-handedly took out like the player of the season. So like, I don't know, like that's like a lot of like adversity, like having to go to every single tribal council in the season. And I don't know, to me, I think it's huge that you can play 2 idols successfully before merge and go into merge with other people still like targeting other people. Like he was able to maintain his threat level exceptionally, and he didn't even have to win like immunities to keep himself safe. Like people were just like, like underestimating him like as like a player. And I'm not saying he's going to be able to do that again because I don't think the opportunity will present itself that way this season, but I definitely think he's someone who, like, when push comes to shove and they have to, like, go all out to, like, keep themselves in, like, he's just clutch. Like, he's, like, extremely clutch.
No, like, I have high hopes for Patrick as a character, and I think he will be one of our good players. I don't think he's gonna... I think he's gonna, meet his match, basically. And not in the J-Ro sense.
All right. Moving on, we have Quinn.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize you were back.
So we were on Patrick, if you didn't hear, Ollie.
Ollie's muted now. All right, so I'm going to move on to Quinn. Quinn was technically our second boot of season 6.
Technically?
Yeah, because Dino was our first boot.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, yes, Quinn was our second boot.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
why is that a
I don't know.
technical?
Yeah, I don't know why I said technically. Quinn was our second boot of season 6. So with Quinn has a very similar personality to Emmy, as I mentioned earlier. So I think that them, like I mentioned earlier, if it's a Quinn, Emmy, Lex trio, totally gonna run pre-merge. I could see that happening. Now, Quinn is another person who has a fire under her ass because she has been dying to play Villain Viber since we started, but she was too young. And then when she finally got the opportunity, she was immediately voted out, which totally crushed her. It was really sad, like really sad. And
Oh god, that was one of the saddest exit interviews we have ever
oh my god,
had.
she like was in such denial. She's like, but I'm coming back, right? Like you don't have to say like thank you for playing, like because I'm coming back. Like it's a comeback twist. And oh god, it was heartbreaking. Yeah. Anyway, so she has a lot to prove, and unlike some of the others, I don't think that this is going to result in overplaying. I think that she has learned something from her first go around. At least I hope so, because she went out because she wasn't DMing people enough and she was sitting in VC all day with Mr. Tristan Neal. And yeah, so I think that she has a shot because she is so good socially if she can just translate that to DMs.
Yeah, I think that out of the people on this cast, I think Quinn might be in the perfect spot in terms of like showed enough on the first time that they played that we believe in them without showing so much the first time they played as to be a threat, and more than that, can chalk up what went wrong in their game to a single particular thing. And if we look at some of Survivor's, like the actual show Survivor's winners on returnee seasons, both Cambodia and Game Changers are won by players who fit that mold, right? Players who you can point out the specific flaw in their first game, who weren't seen as among the biggest threats on their cast coming back, who had flashes of brilliance their first time around, even if things didn't go their way, but like had this flaw that took them out, and they come back dedicated to cut a swath through the competition. And that's where I see Quinn here. Like, I think that Quinn is going to be one of the best players that we have on the favorites tribes put together. And not only that, is doing so with one of the smallest threat levels.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, too, like, we have Jake right here on their starting tribe, who Quinn has like at least a good relationship with. Like not an amazing relationship necessarily or anything, but like Quinn and Jake are on good terms going in. So you've got someone who has someone they're on good terms with going in. One of the stronger players on the cast. Basically 0 threat level. And a report card of needs improvement in this subject area from their Danganronpa season. Like, I don't know how much better this could be set up for a Quinn win than it is. Like, everything that Quinn could possibly have hoped for is here, is theirs for the taking. And I don't see anyone else who's going to take this more than Quinn.
That's bold.
Is Quinn your Lex? At least from where I was coming from. Is that the equivalent?
Yeah, like I think this is Quinn's cast to run.
Okay. So Quinn for me, I really like. I agree. Have a very no threat level. They're not going to go early. I also think that it's not similar gameplay or personality. I wouldn't be surprised if Quinn gets Lexed, like Lex did in season 3. I think Quinn, if there is a late swap, Quinn could get screwed. Have to start playing a little harder. I wouldn't be surprised if they got cut right before the merge, but I also don't see that being a huge possibility. I definitely think Quinn could sneak through the merge while making moves and nobody having any idea.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure, anyone can always get laxed. Like that's kind of the whole thing about getting laxed, is that like it's basically an unpredictable act of extreme survivor violence. Like like that can just happen out of nowhere to anyone at any time, because that is the sort of cruel game that we play.
I gotta say, I don't think Quinn can win. Yeah,
Really? Why not?
because Quinn's personality is too big. But I mean, Alex M had a big personality, and so did Jade, and they won. So maybe I'm wrong.
And so did Boofus, and even to some extent Pody. Like, it's not like we have a history of small personalities.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And like Ha was one step from winning. Are you gonna tell me Ha was just like like I think we have a history of big personalities that win.
Okay. All right. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Moving on, we have Roman, the person who everyone thinks should have gotten player of the season instead of Jade in season 5. Go ahead, Elk.
Oh, so obviously, like, you heard what I said about Roman on the ballot preview, and I still stand by that. But I don't know that everyone else in the server sees Roman like the same way that we see Roman. I think that Roman's threat level has faded a little bit. I think there is definitely risk that Roman is the one who ends up paying the shark tax. I will be heartbroken if she does. Don't get me wrong. Like, I will absolutely be heartbroken if Roman is the shark tax of the season. But I think that Roman's threat level has faded just enough in the eyes of most of this cast for Roman to sneak by for a little bit. And we've seen what a great player Roman can be. I do think Roman probably, just like last time, ends up like getting threat level spiral a little out of control, especially towards the end of the game. I think Roman's probably going to end up somewhere close to her previous finish, like a 6th or a 7th kind of spot. But yeah, ultimately, I think that Roman is going to be in one of the better spots on this season as well. I think this is a massive opportunity for Roman. And I think that Roman is someone who, like, if Roman is not at the top of Edgit contenders at least 3 or 4 times this season, I would be shocked.
For sure, for sure. But so the way that I see Roman is like, Roman is just like Lex in terms of she plays these games to make friends, and she plays these games caring more about the people that she's playing with and protecting them than she does about winning. Except for she could actually win in the end, and I don't think Lex could, because she has the gameplay to back it up, and Lex does not. And wow, I sound like an asshole saying that, but like, I that's just how I see it. I just think that Roman's a stronger player. because she makes moves and Lex just makes friends, and that's okay. You know, like that's how some people play. Roman, but I agree about like the shark tax thing, because people really know that Roman is a strong player, but at the same time, she's such a fun person to talk to. She's so friendly. You want to be her best friend, and so I think that's going to make people not want to get rid of her, because they just love her so much, and they would be sad to have her not around. Does anyone else want to chime in?
I do think with the like, can Roman win or not, especially with the comparison to Lex, I do think that Roman is one of those people who's well set up for a torch win. For one of those wins where like you have that ally you were probably a little too loyal to, wouldn't have cut even if you should. Luckily for you, like someone else takes out that ally, and now all of a sudden you're the overwhelming favorite to win the game.
Yeah.
Like I see Roman being one of the most likely people for that storyline to happen to.
Similar to Jordan, honestly.
Yes, exactly. That was where it came up before, is when you were talking about Jordan. And yeah, I could see that happening, like just replace Jordan with Roman there, like Control F, replace.
What if it happens? What if they
For sure.
become the duo and then it happens to one of them?
Oh yeah, like if that happens, like we said it here first.
Exactly.
Like write it down.
Yeah, Roman's great. I think Roman's definitely gonna get robbed. I don't think she can win. It's sad to say that. I think she's just too good of a player, and I think people know it. And I think that she's gonna get screwed. I don't have a lot more to say, just because I'm extremely tired and I don't feel good. But I'm gonna give a ceiling of 5th, a floor of 15th. That's fair.
15th.
I said 14th.
Still.
Yeah, I think that she could get screwed.
There's a world where Roman pays the shark
fair,
tax.
fair.
I think she can get screwed. I really think she could get Lexed. I think everybody can get Lexed.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But Lexed isn't just a blind side. It's a horrible blind side. You know, it's like shouldn't.
Yeah, getting Lexed is like a blindside that results from advantage plays during a swap screw.
Yeah.
Like that's what getting Lexed is.
The Lexed event got set up. Like, it was being set up in motion like 3 cycles before Lex got there.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, but like
think we're gonna have something like that, but it's only gonna happen once this season. It could be
it's like
several people it could happen.
Like play the Jaws theme when that happens too. It's like that slow creeping dread. Like it's like that. What was that movie that was so popular a couple of years ago? The It Follows or whatever it was, where you just have that poisonous snail that's going to catch you and it's going to kill you, and it's so slow,
Poisonous
but it's
snail.
always
That movie
there.
was
It's
about
relentless.
an STD.
Yeah, well, it was like a
I
monster.
must be thinking of a different movie then.
Did you say poisonous
I must be
snail?
thinking of a different movie.
What's the snail dilemma?
There was a movie about that.
That's
Okay, I got the name of the movie wrong, but the movie about like this slow creeping dread following you, getting ever closer and closer, that like you might think you're getting away, but no, you didn't, and now like it's just like you just feel that dread closer and closer, and that very well could happen to someone. I really hope it isn't Roman, but it could.
yeah.
On that note, let's move on to Sophie. I can start off with Sophie because I've known Sophie the longest in the org community. Sophie, aside from Colleen and myself, is the longest host in Villain Viver. and I've played with Sophie twice actually. And in my final words to Sophie in the first org we played together, she blindsided me so hard that I said, "You deserve to be villain of the season," which was definitely an emotional statement. But Sophie is my winner pick. Because Sophie is a fantastic social player, very smart, very, very smart. Sophie also only plays one org at a time, which is very intentional, which means that she can dedicate the time to this org, which this is an org that you need to do that for. And you can just see it in the way that she's already been interacting, like the way that they have been noting everything, every interaction, but not in an overplaying way. It just like little things that they can go back and reference when needed and draw from, and they just observe. And they're also being very social in a way that people, and they're also good at putting on different faces when interacting with different people, so that they're always someone that everyone likes, but they're always someone different. And I so calculated, so strategic, so social. I don't remember if they're any good at challenges, but definitely a winner.
I hate to break your heart, Gabriel, but I think Sophie is going to be our merge boot.
No.
I definitely think that Sophie is going to get off to a strong start in this season, but ultimately I think people are going to notice just how smart they are. And I think that unless they can like perfectly manage the high wire act, like they're going to get caught. And I think Sophie's going to be a great player, but I think this cast is too strong as a whole for Sophie to get away with it.
And I think they're too stupid. They won't figure it out. I'm joking. I'm not calling our players stupid. I'm joking.
Okay. I'm in the middle because both your points are really good. But Sophie's great. I've seen Sophie play in a few orgs, and they're awesome. They're a really good player. Super smart, super social. I don't know challenge ability. I don't, so I cannot comment on that. But I think they are not. They're not going early. They're not gonna. I'd be very surprised if they didn't make merge or get right close to merge. I do agree with merge boot. I think that could happen. I also think that if there are people like Lex, there are people like Quinn, Rufus, Emmy at merge, that one of them could go before Sophie, because I think Sophie could do better at managing threat level than some of those other people. I also think Sophie's going to be good at misting. I think Sophie's going to run this tribe that they're on right now, and I don't see Sophie going early, and I think my floor is merge boot, my ceiling is winning.
Are we gonna get the Andy Heron edit at some point this season where like every single person on the tribe says the one person in this game I trust with my life is Sophie? Like simultaneously every single other member of their tribe.
I think that's gonna happen for Sophie and Lex. I think those are the two people that could happen to.
It's gonna be a fucking Naran situation.
Oh my god.
Or Abe. That shit happened with Abe. I don't know how the fuck they trusted Abe, but they did. They did. Up next, fan favorite of the server, to be honest. We have Mr. Stud Muffin himself.
Well, can I start us off?
Go for it.
So Stud Muffin was Mino on season 5. I wasn't around season 5, but Mino is not making swap. If Mino makes swap, he's immediately getting booted. Mino is playing terribly. Within first 10 minutes of everything being open and alliances made. That is horrible gameplay. If Mino gets any farther than that, I will be so flabbergasted. I love watching him play because he's just such a train wreck, and I have never seen somebody play like this in a long time. I've seen it happen, but it's been a long time, and it's very entertaining. If Mino's tribe or Studmuffin's tribe loses immunity, gone. There's no doubt about it. Those votes are going to be in very quickly.
Yeah. I am going to go one step further. Oh, go ahead.
If they make swap, which I doubt is going to happen, unless the swap tribe wins every single immunity, Studmuffin is gone. It will happen. He's gonna go. He's not good. He's a great guy, but he's just not gonna get far. And he's the one person who I do not see getting past 17th. I mean, Floor. I think Floor is first boot 20th. Ceiling is 18th. I think.
Yeah. I am excited, as always, by the possibility of a Mino/Studmuffin ceiling game where, like, Mino manages to be in a position of running the game for a little bit, overplays way too hard, and has it all come crashing down in spectacular and entertaining fashion. I don't think that with this cast, and especially with this starting tribe, that is going to happen for him. I think at this point, just looking at the tribe selection, without even looking at anything that's happened on this tribe so far, I will be shocked if Studmuffin gets a single vote that isn't cast for him other than his own at the first tribal he attends. In just about any configuration of this cast, Studmuffin is going out X-1 the first tribal he attends. And that said, it's going to be actually entertaining because he's going to be more active. But he is going to overplay so hard, especially with so much to prove, that it is going to be explosive, it is going to be dramatic, and it is all going to come crashing down like a rain of bricks instantaneously.
It'd be sad. Sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be sad when he goes out though. He's gonna be devastated. But
I mean, I think he knows on some level what's going to happen. He's going to try not to let it happen, but I think he knows.
I don't think so. All right, Elk. I just, anyone who makes an alliance within the first 10 minutes of the game, you're not making it very far. You're not. I don't know what else to say. That's all there is to it. Everything has been said.
That said, I do think that Studmuffin is going to step into server infamy in the best possible way. We reference from time to time players like Pfeifen, who just had catastrophic downfalls in the first episode their starting tribe went to tribal. And I do think that Studmuffin is going to be one of those names that we now start saying along with Pfeifen, along with other legendary early game org downfalls. I do think that spot in the history books is available to Studmuffin.
Absolutely.
I think it's a lock. I mean, I think it's a lock for one of the not worst, just worst players in Villain Fiber history.
Just like the can you believe this happened? Like the win equity is low, but the story equity is high.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that Stud Muffin should be high, or at least higher than a lot of the people in character rankings. Like, who does that? Who immediately makes an alliance within 10 fucking minutes? 10 minutes. It did not take longer than that. Like, Muffin said one word to two people and was like, okay, they're my number one and number two. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I played on a season once where there were 2 tribes of 10, and there was a marooning twist where everyone was paired with someone from the other tribe for like a 24-hour challenge that basically gave you the chance to talk with someone from the other tribe for the first 24 hours of the game. And there was a player on that season who 6 hours after marooning, the entire other tribe knew that he had made 5 alliances on my tribe.
Oh.
That's about the kind of infamy that Stud Muffin is aiming for.
I am so happy for him.
Like, it's going to be fantastic.
And, like, I feel like he's gonna be upset. He's gonna feel screwed over. And I just think that we gotta be the people that say you're amazing. You were just amazing. And it's like, because really is a great person,
He is
and I would see him play every season, and I would just love it every time. I think eventually he has the capabilities in like 6 years to be a good org player, but right now, no. It's just
Like 6 years from now, he's going to be the J-Bro.
Yeah.
The
Well,
J-Bro.
I don't know if that's a step up, but
in 6 years, you think it's gonna take 6 years to get to J-Rose level?
Like, the player who is, like, a decent player who has the game to back it up, but is hindered by his own massive confidence?
I think, like...
fair.
I don't know, I think Mino could develop into a, like, Boofus type personality. Gameplay, no. But, like, I could see that happening. It's like the jokes.
See, I don't see that for Mino because I have a hard time imagining Mino not being extremely confident and not projecting the air of extreme confidence. Whereas like Boofus's whole thing is like, I'm Boofus the doofus, like, let's troll around and have fun together. And I don't see Mino being able to like tap into that side.
I could see that happening, but I also think that with some maturity it could happen. Stud Muffin will mature.
That's fair.
Will
like
become
anything can happen
smarter,
as
on the game level. So I think it could happen.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, that's fair.
On that note, let's move on. We have 2 left. Uni is up next.
So Uni is the single most popular player this community has ever seen. And deserves to be. Like, Uni is one of the most vibrant personalities in the entire org community, not just in the Villain Viber server. And genuinely is one of like the kindest, most caring, most wholesome people you could ever imagine meeting. And on top of all of that, she's like razor sharp smart too.
Yeah, like whenever she
And
took Greed,
when you
she
put
was,
all
she
that,
was so smart when she took Greed, like genius levels.
I mean, I'm talking like I'm not necessarily talking on a gameplay level when I say that. I'm talking like you can, yes, obviously some of these strategic decisions can be heavily questioned. But like the gears in her brain are always spinning at like really fast gear. Like she thinks of things so quickly, and sometimes that eagerness, that enthusiasm, right, ends up leading her a little bit astray, most famously taking Greed. And taking Greed because she was, in her own words, bored. Though I think it was at least in part, and she's hinted at it a few times. She never came right out and said it, but in part because she thought her Blood versus Water duo could be at risk in the joint tribal. And like, sure, it was not an optimal play, but I don't think it was always going to backfire quite as hard as it did. But more than that, like, she thinks through ideas and options quickly. Even when she doesn't always tell you exactly why she's doing it, you can sort of see, okay, like, it was not the most obvious move, but it did make sense. And she got there, and now, like, what's next? Like, she is someone who is always on the move, always trying to come up with something, and who I do think is a really strong, like, strategic player in her own right, in addition to being a very popular, outgoing social player.
Okay. Yeah, I can see all that. For
What are we talking about again?
Uni.
Oh,
Yeah,
need a moment.
Uni is Uni. This is a hot take. Maybe not so hot because people have agreed with me. Uni's a villain. Uni's a villain who disguises it with this hero persona. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. She is a villain and she knows what she's doing by hiding behind this cutesy little attitude. And I think it's brilliant. I commend her for it. I wish that I could do what she does. It's incredible. It's amazing. I don't know what to say. Because no one ever wants to vote her out because they physically feel ill voting her out because she's just so adorable. She's just so sweet. She's just so kind, you know, but she's not afraid to backstab you. Like she will, but she'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I wish I didn't have to do this, but like you made me do it. And it's like, what? I don't know how that's going to translate into this season because she genuinely does play pretty differently every time she plays. So like I don't know what to expect from her this season. But she doesn't usually manage her threat level very well, so I don't think she'll win.
And she's coming off of a final appearance, I believe, in was it Nebviver that she was just in the she was just in the finals of something pretty big. Was it Neb or was it Literal or one of those? She was just in the
I think it
finals
might
of
have been
something.
Literal. Is that all we got for Uni?
Oh, I'm like not here right now. Like Uni ceiling. 9th or is like 16th. I think that he's gonna be really funny. Uni's gonna have some decent gameplay. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw season 1 Uni as opposed to season 4 Uni, but I also think that placement will reflect season 4 Uni.
I don't want season 1 Uni. No offense to Uni, but season 1 Uni was boring. That's not her fault because season 1 was a boring season. She couldn't be fun because there was nothing going on. But like she was a goat in season 1, which is why she only got 1 vote, and the vote was because someone yelled at her and they felt bad. Yeah, I'd much rather have season 4 Uni. Anyway, our final person is Zach.
Oh, I want to talk about Zach.
The goat.
Do you want
Yeah.
to start, Ollie?
Zach is terrible.
What?
Zach is terrible. I think.
What? This is a horrendous take. One of the worst takes of all time. Like top 10.
I think Zach has one of the bigger gaps between floor and ceiling. I think Zach could go to the end. I also think Zach could be like second boot. But Zach was talking off heads of the is it Megara tribe for like 4 hours.
Yeah, I think
It's
he's
like-
still going.
Oh, I don't think so anymore. I think he finally stopped.
Stop.
Oh, did
The
it?
VC stopped.
Every single person who was in there. I do not think he's going to get booted first. I think there is a clear boot that we could talk about later on a different time. But Zach, if his tribe loses more than 1, he's going home. If not, I think he's gonna goat somebody. I think somebody is gonna find him. He's gonna talk to him every day, hours at a time, play into his sports, his football interests, feed his ego, because he loves to talk about himself. Like he really does. He's such a nice guy. He actually is fun to talk to because I talked to him for quite a while. But he is going to talk about himself and is going to piss some people off. It's going to piss some of those bigger players off. They might just take him out because they do not like being around him.
Yeah.
Damn, somebody didn't like that take.
Some of those confessionals already, like Lastro was complaining about it. He was like, Zach, we don't care. I was like, damn, okay. Because Zach is already Zach has played 1 Survivor game, but it was like a fantasy football thing. So it wasn't even like a real org. So he doesn't really know what he's doing. But the thing is Zach loves to talk about that org, which is a huge mistake because you're giving away because what he does is he complains about how he was so robbed and gives away his entire strategy to his entire tribe. He's
Breaks my heart.
Not good at this game. It's so funny to watch. It's so funny. But he's really nice, but it's a train wreck waiting to happen. It's oh boy.
Yeah, watching Zach, especially in the early hours of this season that we've had so far, is like watching a train that is sliding off the rails. And we just want to see if it's going to make it to station 18 or if it's going to crash at station 20th. I had reasonably higher hopes for Zach than the way this looks like it's going. But Zach just looks like he is on a single-minded mission to self-demolish. And it's impossible to talk about Zach without talking about how hard he is imploding his own game in the first minutes of this season, the first hours of this season. Because Zach is off to a catastrophic start, and it may already be too late to fix it. You can't win Survivor on day 1, but you can definitely lose it. And it really looks like Zach could just have already lost the game.
But he's not winning.
I'd be shocked if he made it.
I might even switch. I think his ceiling No, his ceiling is third. I definitely see somebody putting Zach on their back and just carrying him to the end. Because some people,
Philip Shepard style.
100%. But I also think he could just be. He won't be first boot. I highly doubt that he'll be first boot. Might be. There might be a chance if there's a certain someone who picks up activity. Maybe. I see him as low as like 19th. to third,
Tristan, it sounds like you
100%.
have a differing opinion than the rest of us.
Okay, well, I was at work, getting my coin and whatnot. So I was not aware how bad Zach was butchering like the first night of marooning. And so I'm looking at confessionals now, and upon realizing that Zach is butchering very badly his gameplay right now. But I think his tribe won't go to tribal council because I feel like they're good at comps. Because Joaquin's really good at competitions. Zach seems like he would be good at competitions. Like I'm pretty sure, like they seem like I know. I feel like if he could get on a bigger tribe, he'd be better off. But like the smaller tribe, like if they lose, I think he's gone, which like breaks my heart because his interview was like if I were to like read his interview without the knowledge that it was his and I didn't know who read it, I would think I wrote it because like he answered like a lot of the questions the way I would. So I don't know. It kind of sucks that he's floundering very badly so far. Like I was looking at Joaquin's confessional, and he was like, Zach really likes talking about himself a lot, smiling face emoji. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. Yeah, he's like, my boy Zach loves talking about himself in this VC. Yeah, it's just yeah.
God, it's just so funny. So funny.
Yeah, like whether you put them in alphabetical order or in win equity order, Zach comes dead last either way.
Worse than Mono.
Honestly, at this point,
No way.
possibly.
No, I
It's
think
close.
Stud Muffin's worse.
There's no way.
It's pretty close
Stud Muffin
at
like
this point.
stumbles his way into like 17 super idols. There's no way. Zach will be above Stud Muffin in my opinion.
Okay. Bottom two, though.
Bottom two.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And with that, we have our season 7 cast assessment. It only took like 3 hours. Yeah, that was a weird laugh. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so fucking tired. I'm about to pass out. But thank you for
Do you want to lock in one winner pick each before we close?
Sure. I go with Sophie.
Take Zach.
Wait, what was the question?
We're gonna do one winner pick each for
How about
this
we do
season.
our top 3?
Oh,
Actually, let's do one winner pick from the fans and one winner pick from the
Yes.
Okay.
favorites each.
I pick Sophie. Oh wait. Oh fuck.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hang on. I pick. We can pick the same people, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I changed then. I changed to Joaquin and
About one per tribe.
not one per tribe.
So we just do one per tribe.
It's too many.
that's too
Just
many
go
winner
quick.
picks.
Joaquin and Roman.
Did I cut out again?
You're
Hello?
back.
You're back now. You had cut out for a
I'm
second.
not talking over anyone, am I? Yeah,
Nope,
I'll
you're
go
good.
Joaquin and Lex.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Justin and
Justin.
Quinn for mine.
It's Justin.
Who the fuck is Justin?
Elk.
Wait, did I say?
Oh.
I meant to say Jordan. What did I say? I meant to say I meant to say Jordan and Quinn.
Did you have a brain
Sorry.
fart? What happened?
Yeah. You know, I tried to say Jordan and Quinn, and somehow Justin came out.
I'm gonna go with Bartholomew and Billy.
Tristan, who are your winner picks?
I even have to say my fan winner pick. Everybody knows Joaquin Tapia will be taking away the season winning
last
role.
name.
But I guess I did, yeah. Sometimes I refer to him as that. What's it called? I guess if I have to pick a favorite, I mean Joaquin's winning this season, so it doesn't even matter. But I'm gonna pick Uni.
Sim. Okay.
True.
All right. Well, with that, we have our season 7 cast assessment, and I guess at the end of the season, we'll see if we flopped with our takes or not. All right. This has been Gabriel, and with me have been my co-hosts. This is
Elk.
Holy! Elk's voice broke, so I had to do that.
and this is the part where Tristan says his name.
Christian
Tristan.
Neal. Turtle emoji. No.
Tristan.
No. It happens enough on a daily
Ex-boyfriend.
basis. Stop it.
All right.
Stop
We
it.
will see you guys next Friday for probably episodes 1 through 3 recap. Good night.